Chapter 11. Michael revisits the book that once showed him how the body works through the rousing of its comprising systems. It reminds him of many things, and as he continues to meddle through the arising affairs in life, he can definitely see one thing exemplified: that an apt human body has the capacity to adjust to its surrounding environments by striking a balance within itself in the hopes to live and be. And through living, Michael sees an outlook that is obvious to gaze upon. The body can, and the body will, balance. He knows that it can be struck through the practicality of internal control. He also found renewal and stability in the releasing and inhibiting of flows and vigor that stand in regards to the inner balances and imbalances within the body's systems. Those systems are a part of Michael as that of the blood, hormonal, digestive, breathing, skin, brain, bone, and muscle systems. Proper care and conditioning over these systems is centered over Michael's preparation of his conscious mind with these systems' pertinent details. To Michael, concentration and introspection with the aid of those details were amplified by the unsealing of another component within his mind. That being his mind's amalgamation with nature. Amalgamation. It required Michael to acquire ways to perceive the inner ebbs and flows of his body. That perception grew from the awareness of the convoluted processes of life that are achieved seamlessly and autonomously by the body. It all allows his appreciation of the world to deepen, and thus enabling him to intricately harness those flows of balances and imbalances. His grasp upon the harnessing further augments the amalgamation in Michael's perception. Michael thinks of others who exist in this world without this amalgamation. In talking to Adam, Michael knows that the rigors of Adam's life, along with the stamina and energy which it entails, Michael knows these elements will always cast its presence upon Adam's mind and adversely affect Adam's ability to harness and appreciate as Michael has. Adam's senses are hindered by circumstances of those rigors, and thus appreciable occurrences of special significances will remain cloaked and concealed from his mind's grasp. Michael knows that for himself, this amalgamation cardinally came to him. He both upholds and withholds that inwardly through sheer familiarity. In a moment of jubilance, Michael is prideful and thinks he could have contrived a way to attain the amalgamation. But in this instance, Michael realizes that it undeniably came to him, and as it just so happened, he received it with an open mind. There are others who have mastered this knowledge through their own will and affinity. Certainly, if one has no interest in this knowledge, it cannot be taught or given to one. Michael knows if an affair or matter is of utmost relevance to him, that very same matter may very well fall meaningless and expendable to another. Michael watches and conceptualizes himself. This appreciation he has of his gift, it truly stems from him delving deep within the perceptible material of the matter that is the schematics of the body, which ultimately led him to find a semblance of how and why the body will act and react in certain ways at given times. His mind is occupied with the flowing of thoughts. Michael completely rejoices in his failures, existence, his past missteps, knowing full well that it had served a purpose. He even grows enamored with the memory of his misfortunes. Sometimes he would even reminisce about the aforementioned negativity and find humor in it, for it is a parody of life itself. These memories come to Michael as an alleviator of predicaments within the mind during times of hardships. Michael is seeing firsthand that pain, any kind of pain, at a certain point can be transfigured in the mind. Preeminent on his thoughts within his thankful realization is that he did not consummate vengeance, and thus he did not churn the wheels of vicious cycles by becoming a different entity towards others. Atrocity and vengeance is passed around in cycles through all in this world. He cherishes the opportunity to absorb these odious deeds that will and have come to him at this particular juncture of life. More of his mind begins to be occupied as he sees himself the very last stop of this particular infliction upon the world. In fact, there is no pain, just a memory in time, an attachment, which is to be attached and detached to him as how the mind decides and sees fit. He is glad to be at the end of these afflictions. He is one with being the completion of events that were rife with contention. A series of blows and counterblows rooted in tragedy and conflict. All has reached resolution. Michael realizes he puts no value or worth in retribution and his perceived satiability. For there is no satiability. And days pass within this cycle that is being passed around. Feverish torment had arrived in Michael's life. It came to him initially masquerading as ecstatic delight through several acts, attachments, and persons. Michael accepted all of it with open arms, for he coveted to be the victor. Here and now, Michael recognizes a pattern. The murdering of his inflictor would appear to come to Michael as victory. However, Michael has seen that it would eventually mean affliction, loss, and division for the being that is Michael. The life of his inflictor means nothing to Michael. Therefore, so does the act of murder. If another one were to see value as Michael does, that person would be able to halt all callings to arms and weaponry, and in turn, serve another aspiration, one that is free of contention and tragedy. Michael continues to watch. Michael has experienced many persons who go through life with their needs often filling the semblance of many impetuses which lies behind their actions. Michael knows that there are an innumerable amount of people in the world who conduct themselves in such a manner. As needs are synthesized and then developed to be established within an individual's mind, based on the ever-growing external forces that even includes the individual's very own perceptions. It results in a savage pressure that reshapes the individual's mind, bringing about the individual to act based on those needs through a modified and compromised sense of identity. Michael understands that through time, One could retain one's free rein to operate, achieve, and succeed by those needs and standards within the mind. By these understandings, Michael sees that the world's civilization does eventually take shape for all through the very occurrences of acts. In arriving in this present moment in time, Michael can now see clearly that there is no statecrafting ideology of promise which can effectively govern man as currently constituted. There has never been one that has ever existed in the history of the world, and Michael is beginning to see that one might never exist in the present or future of the human race. The human race. Ones who are beings with minds that search for all things different from one another. There have been many attempts at crafting an ideology. The safeguarding of promises to a society, a civilization, and all have always proven to be infinitely beyond the abilities of a few and others. Michael remembers seeing George's discontent. Michael deduces that it is because George feels that elected officials have let him down while guiding the city and country of his residence astray. Maybe the officials did not mean to. Maybe they did. However, Michael ponders a leader of a vibrant, strong, and devoted family. A leader lives a life fully invested into the care of the family. A leader gives it their all, their everything. Their job is on the periphery of their focal point, which is their family. An elected official has a duty, and the masses have expectations that can only be met if an elected official's duty was the official's highest priority and focal point. But it is not. It is their job. An elected official cannot give the masses their everything because this job is a peripheral duty. An elected official cannot give the masses their all, and the masses cannot expect the official to invest themselves the way an ideal situation would entail. Not in this world. Not in this time. Michael has watched and heard about systems that have, through history, been initiated and founded by a few and others. Systems which have proven that through its constituents, a system willfully gathers and ends to serve the preservation of itself and only itself in kind. A system does so until the end of its term of warranted authority. Michael can see that the masses have banded themselves to others in the search for hope, strength, and fulfillment. Michael has also seen that in their desperation, some within the masses have even handed over their entire lives into the hands of those others. Through Adam's insight, Michael continues to see that these others have calculatingly and premeditatively contrived a multitude of systems with the discrete designs to hoard and accumulate for themselves and only themselves. Michael knows the fuse plan truly contradicts and is completely antithetical to the masses' hopes, thus evoking a chain of events that have culminated in a continuously escalating angst between all who are within this climate of spiraling imbalance and strife consequent from the hoarding and snatching away of essential and vital resources. And many can tell that this dearth of resources greatly destabilizes an already volatile and doubtful situation. A situational plight that belongs to the minds of the masses. Within the system that shapes all, the few often disagree with or maintain disdain for another's dedication due to the paranoid nature of their discrete and strategic dealings, which are rife with tension, stress, and hassle. Michael knows that all just want to be free. Not in devastation. Adam being well informed, has also shown Michael that through the chronicles of world events, the resources of the masses have always been misused and abused. Adam has also shown Michael that there has been and still is the relativity of currency as earnings and security, governing over the attainment of goods, and that all have left themselves vulnerable with these checks and balances. Michael can see that. In fact, all have seen it before. It is all a vain repetition. Michael also gathers that as long as needs can possibly be induced and synthesized within one's independent and conscious mind, the burden of external influence will continue, materializing as controlled popular expressions designed to entice and create lust to stir the proliferation of those needs. And thus, the masses' malcontent will grow resulting from that influence and inducement, which causes many acts to emerge. Regrettable acts that impede, interfere, and embarrass. The parameters of this system of influence, inducement, attainment, and control impinges upon all with great discomfort, pressure, and urgency. Blood absolutely dry. Michael finds all. He sees that all are betrayed in their vulnerability. He is a part of all. He renounces this bleeding. Michael resolves not to leave himself vulnerable from here on out. Michael now recognizes the true meanings behind that which initiates and empowers these products and influence. For him now, to participate and indulge in these products and influence would only further strengthen a will that opposes all. A will that seeks to reverse the significant meanings of everything that is true. Our great adversary. This is when Michael looks to his gift. He can only muster praise within his mind for having been given this gift. It is in this praise and strength that he knows that he has been given all he needs. This gift is fulfillment. This gift is promise. No other or few can possibly bring about the completion of Michael. Nothing else is needed. He will not forsake this gift. In Michael's willful resolve, he sees that one can neither judge, accuse, nor decree another individual. It is simply beyond one's mindful capabilities or capacity to do so as a person. Absolutely everything and anything that flows within one's body or mind is impossible to be mastered by another. Another who wills to judge, accuse, and decree. If and when one chooses to act beyond one's skill deem, one's mind will either take flight or fight. And the prerequisite of life is to be in the here and now. Here in the moment, at peace, with no fighting or yearning to take flight. That much Michael knows.